And some events are way better than others. Like, this was really genuine. Being in New York is mental exercise and physical, but certainly mental exercise too. What subway do you take? What exit do you want? And where do you go? You gotta get your bearings. Today I'm going to 55th Street, Morrison and Foerster. Columbia Business School is having Entrepreneur Week. Today is a talk on AI startups, the next generation of startups and how to fund them. There'll be some general partners of venture funds, founders that have multiple successful exits. Gotta hope I'm going the right way. I'm gonna cross. Wait a second, I was going the wrong way. I'm talking about the mental exercise and how it can be, and here I am walking the wrong way. 250. There you are. Going to be some good information today, I think. Yeah.
Learning experience.
Made it. Yeah, that's good.
Here you go.
Great, thank you. Great, I can't wait to take this coat off. I'm just glad I have it, but it's November in New York. You gotta like layer and then shed and layer and shed. This is going to be great. Like I said, I love being up high.
Here are current technologies.
To buy people.
Okay.
Very
Great. Now we get that right.
people raise
To give them an opportunity to introduce themselves.
We recognize at this moment in time right now that accept that AI is just going to change how we do what we do, rather than resist it, embrace it, and guide it. And I think if you do that, you can be successful. That's a good time to be alive. It's amazing time. So what do you think we'll get wrong, Mr. Earl?
I think we are overestimating the willingness to pay for certain technologies. But I also think that we are underestimating just how efficient we will get in infrastructure. I think that will end up being as similar to, I forget, the access to the internet was designated, a human right to access to this level of compute and reasoning and thinking, and that I think will be really interesting, because then it will just proliferate every part of our lives no matter what. So 10 years from now, we will have access to, everyone will have the same access to the same technology.
To be honest, it's better. I mean, in New York, there's unlimited resources. All you got to do is tap into it.
And the power of showing up and asking is very.
That's something that I'm working on right now, is helping people more efficiently expand their networks in real time. So these are great. We can do better. Like she said at the end, imagine a virtual board where these people's names. Well, imagine a bigger thing where you knew who everybody in the room was, not just the panelists, and we already know who they are. I want to know who's in here that's dealing with edge and future technology in the wellness space. Like, who are those people, right?
What's your name?
Mike.
Xavier.
Hi.
Almost like a domino effect.
Absolutely, that's well put. Yeah, I like that. Sometimes you got to reverse engineer it too, right? You want to know, when you're building the dominoes, you want to know what the finale is going to be, or what what the end point is, before you start laying them out, right?
I moved to the city 3 months ago. I made a pact with myself that I would treat networking like I treat working out. It's a muscle that you continuously have to build.
I intend to use technology to help alleviate that pressure and allow your mind to more efficiently operate. Instead of having to constantly filter through things, tech can do that for you. Yeah. And then you can just exercise the muscle in the most efficient way.
So you focus on where your energy matters the most.
Yeah. It'll be like, skip the gym, go to the sport, and you're already ready to play, at your highest optimal physical peak.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks so much everyone for coming today. My name is Gabriel Mejia, I'm the director of the Dyen Center. At this point, we can all pretty much agree that AI is transforming virtually every industry. To what extent, it'll vary from industry to industry, but that's what we're looking to explore for the next hour. How is AI transforming venture capital? How is it making changes to the deal flow process from sourcing, selecting, and diligencing startups? Are venture capitalists, angel investors, or anyone who invests in startups, how are they leveraging AI to make investment decisions, if at all?
Vince Ponzo came back to CBS to run the Lang Center for about 5 years. Then I went to Amazon. I was on the startups team at Amazon. It was my job to find startups at universities before they were big companies and help them grow. And then I went, after 5 years, I spent 3 years on Amazon's AI team, where I was leading responsible AI business development.
My name is Erica Dyen. I'm the founding general partner at Rain Ventures. We're a seed stage venture fund that invests in technology generally. We have a few AI companies in our portfolio, so happy to talk about that.
Hello all, I'm Maria Anthony. I'm a vice president at Motive Partners. Motive is a multi-stage global investment platform focused on fintech financial services. I sit on our early stage team, so focused on pre-seed, seed, Series A, and then we have the bulk of our practice is our later stage strategy, typical growth and buyout. Have about 6 or 7 billion AUM on that side of the house.
All right. Yeah, how many people here are founders or you want to start a company? How many people here are investors? All right, all you founders, make note of all those investor hands. There's a networking lunch after this. So AI, no secret what AI is doing. It's speeding up a lot of things, including the growth curve for businesses. And so you've got businesses like Cursor, which had 1 million users. It's got $1 billion in ARR in less than 2 years. And Lovable hit 100 million ARR in 8 months. That leaves way less time for you as investors to do your due diligence, to sort of get the metrics you might need or some of the other things you look for. How, as early stage investors, how is the early stage VC world adapted to what AI has done to that growth curve of companies?
You know, I think the important thing is you don't have to be an AI company to have that rate of growth. Like I've seen consumer companies that have grown that quickly, so it's not unique to AI. I think a really great company is going to grow really quickly, and you need to learn how to, identify that and move on it quickly. Part of being able to get access to these types of opportunities is like having already invested time in building a relationship with the founder or within the ecosystem so that you can step in and like credibly get an allocation. It's going to remain to be seen kind of how sticky the revenues actually are, because I've started to notice with a lot of these AI products that things that I thought that were really cool, like note takers or whatever, that I was like, yeah, sure, I'll pay $25 a month for that. Now it's like embedded into all the other products that I'm already using, and it's very commoditized. And I'm like, oh, I should cancel that. AI, unfortunately, for the VCs who believe that they're going to get really rich off the investments, has sort of commoditized itself because it just makes it, the AI can basically do all the things. So there's relatively, there's less moat than what you would hope for in the long run.
So you have to be very proactive and get in front of things, that relationship building on the sourcing front. Certainly for us as fintech investors too, I think it goes a long way that we're pretty thematic and thesis driven and know our vertical very well. And so you can just get up to speed on new companies that much quicker. I think when you already have a sense of what exactly you're looking for, who are the other players there, you've met some of them and either like them or don't for certain reasons. So it helps you kind of move quicker in terms of making that bet. And then I also think the truth is you sort of have to decide what game you're playing and where you can win.
What other signals do you look for in this new environment?
Oh, there's so much. And for us, we can invest anywhere from like a pre-product, pre-revenue founder/company to at a Series A, a couple million in ARR. So there's many different metrics that you want to look at from that standpoint. It still is team above everything. But I think what brings us all here today and what I think is the most challenging piece that we spend the most time on is just getting a sense for like differentiation and sort of sustainability, exactly to what you were talking about. it's very easy to launch some app point solution that, I don't want to say it's easy, but you can build it pretty quickly and you can get to a decent amount of traction that looks really good. But how do you really go from point solution to platform? How do you really test that pricing power? How happy are customers? How much are they willing to pay for it? All of those are really big pieces of it. And beyond that, getting a better understanding for everyone's AI today, what's really differentiated about what you're doing. Is there a proprietary data strategy behind this that makes it more interesting, that stops others from being able to copy you? Like whatever that piece of it is, I think that's probably where we spend the most time with founders these days, getting a better understanding.
We take a generalist tech approach to investing. So it's less about, specific metrics. I guess if I were gonna, say it really succinctly, a lot of it is vibes, right? So, what I have to figure out is is this a person who I think has the mental and emotional capability to build $1 billion company? And, the truth is not everybody has that, right? So I'll give you an example. In our portfolio, we have some companies that have amazing product, amazing customers, right? Fortune 100 customers, but the founder, their mindset can't hold more than, a $5 million a year business, right? Whereas there are people who have started things where you would think, there's probably a lot less upside, but their mindset can actually hold being the founder of $1 billion company.
Sorry to interrupt you, but what are some of those characteristics?
I think it has to do with focus, being incredibly focused and incredibly passionate about delivering the product to your customer and sort of the customer's happiness with that product being paramount. I've seen that be a leading indicator of something being very successful. A founder who has a drive to start the company or to build the company because they literally feel like they have to do it. I've seen our most successful founders are people who just irrationally are I have to do this. This thing has to be birthed out of me. And they care about it deeply and they really care about the customer, whether it's an enterprise customer or a consumer company. I find that's a really great marker. We're actually looking for founders that have ideas that we haven't already thought of, right? So I always say, if I've heard of what you're doing before, I'm probably not interested in investing in it, right? We really want to be surprised and delighted. We love people who have truly unique novel ideas or a truly unique novel perspective on the market. Something I was telling Maria in our little hangout before we started the panel, one of my daughters went to this very fancy private school where several of the students have billionaire parents, and whenever she'd tell me, so-and-so's family is going on their yacht over Christmas break, to the Caribbean, and I'd be like, oh really, what does her dad do? And she'll be like, he's the king of porta potties. And I'm like, okay, that totally makes sense, right? And it's those are the types of businesses, it's just so random the way things work. It's never what everyone else wants to do. Usually that's most likely everywhere need to be. It really needs to be something that not everybody is thinking about. So be the king of porta potties.
As founders, be careful you're not chasing something. I literally saw food delivery, and then it was meal delivery, and then it was well, cut up the food and deliver it to you. It was I'm waiting for somebody to show up and say, I chew the food. It happens. So just, make sure you're not chasing something, that you're doing it for the right reason, that it comes from.
I'll swallow the food for you.
What red flags do you look out for, or do you see that steer you away from investing?
It's very challenging, particularly, a lot of the time you have a first 30-minute intro call with the founder. They can have a nice deck and a nice pitch. So you usually have to get beyond that and get into some of the meat. But I think the red flags initially, there's a lot of things that are just GPT wrappers. There's no real IP there. It's really hard for us to get behind something like that. I think the other red flag is dismissing the limitations of AI, which I see a lot. I think people will overinflate 100% accuracy or things like that just aren't realistic. Be real with me about what we can do today with what you are building and where we can hopefully get. But we all know that it's not perfect right now. And so let's start with something that's really solvable and expand from there.
You definitely want to have like belief in yourself, but remember that like anytime you're pitching to VCs, there's actually, now please don't set up a pitch meeting with me and then start grilling me questions. I don't like that. But if you give a pitch to me and then I'm giving you some feedback, even if it's obvious that I don't want to invest, it's very valuable, because I think what a lot of founders don't realize is that like we're getting pitched by lots of other people. So we have in our heads this kind of like secret information that, oh yeah, there's actually kind of like, I don't know, 15 other people over the last month have called me up like saying that they're doing the exact same thing. So always like, you know, sometimes I'll try and share this feedback with founders and they're kind of like offended or something, but it's like, no, you should actually want to know this, right? Because like, this is not information you can Google, right? Like you think you have a really interesting novel idea, but I'm telling you, like, we all know, you know, there's a, I don't know, what is it, like the morphogenetic field or something, like ideas are all like in a field. And so if you get one, you know, especially in times like this, there's probably a bunch of other people doing them.
And other places you can potentially partner too. I think that's another good thing. Yeah, conversations with us.
Yeah, that's super valuable feedback, and especially too, if you even get an understanding of what metrics the VCs are looking for when they invest, you can at least take that and those can become bigger milestones or goals, and then you can call Erica back up and say, hey, remember when he said you never invest in a company if they did X, Y, and Z? Well, guess what? So keep those relationships.
Power of mixed reality inside of our vision, right? It's the big companies are building the hard way, you know. First to market is still a big thing, you know. And then when you come into it, like he was saying, distribution is power, right?
I wrote that down.
Yeah, like what do you say? Possession isn't 9/10 of the law, distribution is. Imagine if you walked into this event and you had a technology that told you who had the most alignment with your goals and vision and what you're meant to do. And then it said, here's your assigned seat right next to that person. That's what we're building.
That's a good visual. From my perspective, one thing I'm curious is this not also mapped based on their socializing style or like their personality?
Absolutely. That's exactly where the AI advantage will come in. It can say to you, here's what we think you are. Tell me what I'm missing.
Yeah.
How is, as investors yourselves, how do you differentiate yourselves among founders?
Actually, I have someone who can say like, okay, yeah, but have you thought about taking it this way, or have you explored, we have this other portfolio company that's doing some of this, maybe you could leverage that, or maybe you guys can think about sort of like a go-to-market partnership together. There are certain ways that like a lot of that connectivity can actually, I think, impact the business early on.
A founder that chooses to work with us, it's like, all right, when we make the investment, we're leading the seed round, we're taking a board seat, we're taking like 10 to 20% ownership. And it's kind of like a marriage, right? Like we're ride or die with you, you know, very intensely for the first 2 years, right? And then, you know, sort of similarly like a marriage, once you get to 2 years in, you're sort of like, okay, I got some other things to work on. But basically, you know, we are probably going to be on your board for a very, very long time. It's going to probably take, give or take, you know, plus or minus 10 years to get your company to exit. So it's really about wanting that partnership and also you wanting to feel important to us. And taking that boutique approach really is much more attractive to founders who don't want to be put in the position of like having to take more capital than they can work with, because, you know, as you guys know, the underwriting standard, you know, generally for early stage VCs is you got to 20x every dollar that I give you, right? So if I say, okay, I'm going to give you $2 million, you need to 20x every of those dollars, that's like kind of doable. But if I'm like, I need to give you $50 million, you need to figure out how to 50x the 50, that's, you know, it's a different thing, right? Like that might not be something you're equipped to do or want to do. And, you know, a lot of founders, especially when we had kind of the bubble VC market in certain sectors in the early 2020s, they ended up doing $40, $50 million rounds and realized I can't actually create the type of return you need on this amount of money. I've now sort of run my business in a way that doesn't make sense for me because I'm trying to deploy a lot of cash, right, to help you meet your goals, and it's just not doable. So I personally think, especially at the early stage, it makes a lot more sense for a founder to work with a small boutique firm that is really focused on helping them get through the challenges of those first couple of years in a really reasonable fashion that's also not going to over leverage your company. And I know, people think, oh, well, it's equity, it's not leverage, but preferred equity in your company, if you don't meet those milestones, essentially becomes leverage on your business.
So are you seeing AI change the VC industry? Not in terms of the companies they're investing in, but in terms of discovery, due diligence, things of that nature?
My sourcing still, probably most of my deals I'm getting from chatting with other people like Erica and saying, what are you seeing? What's interesting? Oh, this founder, do you know this founder? That takes up 50% of my time.
The only thing AI has really done for us is that I do feel like it just makes me a little smarter, more efficient in preparing for interactions with our companies.
It's a lot just to make me more efficient. So when I am doing a first pass at a company, I want to send it to one of my partners. I just upload the deck and I say, can you just quickly summarize this company and the traction and draft a note for me to give Harsh the update and what I suggest we do next type thing.
Yeah, and I think let's just also remember the overarching statement, right? Every company should be an AI company, right? Just like every company is an internet company, Vince and I were around in the 2000 .com bubble where it was oh my God, your company has a website? It should be worth $1 billion. It's sort of the same thing here. It's literally, why would there even be a company that doesn't use AI, right? It's completely accessible. Everybody can and everybody should, just the same way that you don't get extra points because your business has a website or an email address,
What actually matters is how much money have you raised before to get to this point, and are we seeing the metrics that we then launch at that point, regardless of whether you're calling this $15 million round a seed or a Series A?
But I certainly hope as a society that we don't see the younger generations become too reliant on AI. I have a son who's 26. He met his girlfriend on Hinge, and I sort of said to him, I was oh, I don't know around these apps, and he's oh, well, I would not have any idea how to go up to a woman and ask her on a date. And I was really? And he's yeah, what if she wasn't single? What if this? What if that? And I realized, I'm oh my God, there's an entire generation of people that have basically been handicapped and they don't realize yeah, you actually can do all of these things without the swipey phone thing. And they're I just can't. So, I get nervous when I see a young person, with a great background who is scheduling a pitch with me and basically is relying on ChatGPT for even the words that come out of their mouth, right? So I think, we want to use the tool, but we also want to recognize that we don't want to become dependent, and we want to make sure that we can still do things for ourselves. When we think about what actually drives people to do things, it's actually kind of what we're describing as emotional intelligence, but it's really emotions, right? Everything that you do, coming here, going to business school, getting a job, wanting to earn $1 million, it's because what you're actually valuing are feelings, right? You want to have these good feelings, whether it's accomplishment, enjoyment, relaxation, love, friendship. We do everything for those things, and those are the things that cannot be commoditized, and those are the things that are actually the true value in our existence. A good VC, your job is not to meet with the founder at board meetings and be oh, well, you didn't get this, you didn't do that, you didn't do whatever. It's actually to be another person who's going to hold the vision with them of what they're trying to build. Here are the things that went wrong, but also we still see how this is going to go right? And we're able to kind of provide that support that you can still do it, because it's traumatizing, right? It's like a lot of responsibilities. People have raised a lot of money. They've kind of agreed to a path where they got to like 20x every dollar. They're in charge of a lot of people's salaries and livelihood, and their own egos are on the line. My job is not about judgment, right? It's about like showing up with an energy that's going to help this person be like the very best version of the person that they want to be. And that's not always easy to do.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in. One thing I would say, I always felt that the first step to entrepreneurship was self-awareness. I think as a founder, you need to be self-aware. That'll help you make the difficult decisions, which you're going to have to make. You have to be comfortable with conflict. People think, not arguing with your co-founders or having a happy place to work. I've seen a lot of happy places to work. They're not always good businesses.
Do we want to live in a world where the capital markets are dominated by a few players, or do we want people to have choice, right? And many ideas to be funded, and things not to all be sort of controlled by a few super powerful entities.
My big
It was so hard not to talk to you. I felt like we were making eye contact. I just wanted to talk to you so bad.
We'll see you next door. Thank you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm so interested in this fund too you were talking about.
So we've really put together a fund thesis for Fund 2 around how can we use AI tools to understand and help people sort of communicate better around this sort of like emotional intelligence aspect.
Wasn't that good?
I loved it.
That was so good.
Particularly how she talked.
Exactly. Did you have a question? If you would have asked them a question, what would it have been? I'm always curious where people in VC would draw the line between value creation and tech exploitation.
I feel like you've got to ask her that question.
Tell a great story and magnetize your own self and draw the people to you. Then just cast a wide net and allow the people, everybody else to filter through it, and whatever you catch is meant to be caught.
You know how Spotify does an annual review of what you listen to?
Yeah.
Imagine ChatGPT did an annual review like this
of what you talked about.
Bothering you. You are incredibly lonely.
Not that different from what I'm working on.
Oh, you're working on it.
Is this the guy who's
Get him!
If your memory is outsourced, what are we actually? We're just charming meat skids, like just going around.
Well, it'll make your unique skill sets even more valuable, because there'll be more rarity. Your emotions, your unique
Quirkiness,
abilities.
the openness,
Exactly.
whatever it is.
Yes. Yeah. Eye concept. Right? Or picking up an acoustic instrument, for example, and playing it in a public space and attracting people to the moment. You've got to think further. Think into the near future of mixed reality, wearables.
Yeah, I've signed up for Meta's software development kit for their Ray-Bans.
Get in here. Get this guy in here too.
What's your name, bro? Your name. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Lewis. Now say all I know. Steven, Jason, Prakash, completely wrong. But still closer than not kidding.
What did you learn today?
Trying to move you.
I do like supply chain and demand center for Nike.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty much the same thing.
Well, you should have probably known about those things.
I should have.
Right? It's just applying machine intelligence to, make human life easier.
Yeah, exactly.
And healthier. And better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less work, more enjoyment.
Exactly. I also worried you guys about today's event.
I feel like
It's like a more blend.
none of us need to try any harder than just being here. We're in the right place at the right time. That's very important to me.
Playing music interspersed throughout.
Hey, can we multitask and do the thing?
Sure. Before we continue, I'd love to do what these guys are doing.
Yeah, let's just do the
Disrupt
thing.
the flow of our natural conversation.
You're talking about music production.
You got everything. See, that's something I thought our phones were gonna have a bonding moment.
You would think. Now you would think that.